Evening, all welcome back to Destiny, and well, here we go, another mission, another exciting mission. The PvE side of it, in fact, that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about PvE, and we're going to talk about the fact that this is a 10-year game in the making, and the fact that this is the most expensive game ever made. So there's three things to talk about today. And it's interesting because when you look at the way that this game has certainly come together from the beta, from what we've seen so far, it's pretty evident that this is actually 10 years in the making. This is there's a lot here. There's a lot of polish. There's a lot of thought gone into this. So usually you find that games come in a number of different flavors. They're either incredibly graphic-y and good, but the mechanics are kind of shit. You then get games where the mechanics and the shooter element is actually very good, but the graphics are kind of, I don't know, over the top. Quake 4 is maybe a good example there. It was a little bit too much. Crisis perhaps as well. Great game, great graphics, looks good, but you know, the AI was a bit ugh. And everything about it was great but not brilliant. So there was something, yeah, this is why I think when it comes to games and shooters, you do generally find that it's not a sunshine-filled world all the time. And I think Destiny so far is proving to be very good graphically, even on the PS3. It's proving to be incredibly good from a mechanics point of view as well. So the controller, use of the controller is just sublime. I'm preferring it to mouse and keyboard by a mile, which is really nice to see. I think everything about kind of the way that they've set the game up as well is right. Now, there's no wrong or right with this. Some people want to play Battlefield 4 where you pick a class and you go for it, whereas I would rather play a game which has a deeper meaning to it, where you can pick up loot, upgrade everything about that loot. So, like multiple pieces of armor, multiple guns, and so on. So the fact that Destiny allows you to do that, big plus to me, because that's the kind of game that I want to play. I want to loot stuff and then use it, and then sell it, and then get rid of it, whatever. So I think to me this is a really good. It's ticking the boxes. It really is. The PvE element should never be underestimated, because I think a lot of the time my kind of frustration with games is that they're only kind of half there. There's only like 50% of the whole package there. So when people play Borderlands, for example, Borderlands was one of the first games that really did make a co-op PvP MMO style shooter. It's not really an MMO, but you know what I mean. So you could have PvP, and you could also mainly do PvE, player versus environment, which is the important part here, so let's not forget that. And I think Destiny has got both of these in absolute spades, which is great. And to be honest, this is why I think I'm actually quite squeeing over it, because I mean, those of you who are familiar with the channel, this is primarily was a Dust channel, and that's where we kind of cut our teeth, because Dust 514 is a great game, and it's still going to be a great game, and it will continue to be a great game. So firstly, just to allay fears, people think I'm not going to play Dust anymore. That's not true. I will carry on playing Dust, because I still get a massive kick out of playing it. And I think really the reality behind this is, and I'm just going to cut straight to the point, bros, everybody who plays Dust at the moment is kind of waiting for Legion. Well, most players are, but they're kind of waiting for Legion, which is going to be the next generation of Dust. And to be honest, it's going to be like what we're playing here. The reality is it's going to be an open world DayZ Borderlands 2 style game, which, lo and behold, what they've produced here is pretty much that. It's got the open element of DayZ, it's got the looting element of DayZ, and it's got the kind of combined PvE, PvP elements of Borderlands. So to be honest, Destiny have kind of beat the market, if you like, to this. I think the Borderlands thing kind of was first. But it's worth mentioning that I think the reality is that this is quite a kind of happy clappy Halo style game from Bungie. So what really you're getting here is a very kind of washed down game, or a lighter game, a brighter game, an uplifted game. What CCP will produce is a dark, very hard game. So Legion, I think, is going to hopefully take some really good elements from this game and build them in. So I almost hope that the Legion team actually take a break for a few weeks and just sit and play the F out of this game, because there's so many great things here that I think people will love to see. Anyway, so to be honest, that's where we kind of get to. So 10 years in the making is an interesting marker, and you can kind of see this because when you look at the way the game is certainly produced, they have put an awful lot of thought into what is the player going to do. So often gaming companies forget to think about what the actual player will do. Developers get locked into something called flow, where they just get completely, immersed in what they're producing and not actually looking at it from a noob's point of view and saying, what would the player be doing in this scenario? So look, we don't know what we're doing. We're in this scenario. Can we understand what we're doing? Can we understand where to go? And is there enough for us to keep entertained? And the answer is yes. They have really aced this. So you can deploy to a map and have a runabout and an arse around and a piss about, and then eventually an event will kick off, and an event will then require you to be pretty much on your A game. You then have you can look, you can explore, you can find hidden stuff, hidden caves, hidden loot. There is a lot here, seriously, and you can even dance as well. You can even dance, yes. But to be honest, there's an awful lot here. So to be honest, I think people are going to be quite impressed with this. If you haven't played it yet, then just get yourself a code. Just go to the Destiny Twitter page and just tweet them and look around, search online, beg, steal, borrow. You will find one, because there's lots of codes out there, and there's lots of people looking to play the beta. I think the beta's open for a fair while. There's not a great deal in here. There's only a few maps. So just bear that in mind. But to be honest, it's not a problem. Most of it is set within this Russian Cosmodrome map, which is actually quite good. In fact, it's very big as well. So there's plenty to investigate, to be honest with you. So you're not going to run out of things to do is pretty much where we go. So let's talk maybe now about maybe how this game is going to develop moving forward, because the reality at the moment is this is a beta, so there is certain elements here they're testing. And I think, we've spoken about the fire teams. I think fire teams are maybe worth discussing. I know I saw some really interesting comments on the channel earlier about people saying, well, it's only 3v like PvE and all that, and it's like 6 versus 6 and blah, 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 blah. And people, I think there's a lot of fanboying over Dust and things like that. And if I can just be quite honest, don't fanboy over a game. A game is not loyal to you in any way. So I don't understand why people are loyal to games. You should just enjoy what you should enjoy. I have always said this, and I will say it again. When I did the channel, when we started doing the channel, Trub and I basically sat down and said, let's just play whatever gives us enjoyment. We're not being paid to play these games. We're playing them because we want to do a channel. And that's all we do. And this is why I think, there's a lot of people who are quite sort of, and again, because we have a huge Dust subscriber base, then a lot of people are kind of upset that we're playing this. A lot of people are happy we're playing this. But more importantly, a lot of people are white knighting for Dust. This is nothing like Dust. It's a different game entirely. So I think people need to kind of get off that bandwagon. It doesn't matter that this is one game and Dust is another. It really doesn't. You just enjoy the game. And I think if people can just get over that, that kind of, I don't know. It's like a weird level of I'm trying to think of the word. It's almost as if there's an amount here of respect and honor and white knighting is the only thing I can kind of think of for a game that really you don't need to. These games stand apart. They are what they are. And to be honest, it's like trial by fire. Everything within the creative industry is a trial by fire. If you're crap, you're crap. If it's good, it's good. And it really just comes down to that. But the thing is, and this is really where the entrepreneurial spirit is quite important, we should never be afraid of failure. If you're afraid of failure, you never try. And I think with this and Dust and everything else, I respect the fact that they really tried to make some good games here. And I think particularly Destiny is looking excellent. It's looking really, really good. So much so that this is going to become an absolute primary part of our channel now. But so will Dust, so will Elite, so will everything that we play. Because until a game literally just completely switches us off and gets boring and just completely, repels us, if there's something there to enjoy, we'll keep playing it. And the way we work is we enjoy what we play, and we play what we enjoy. I know I keep saying that, but it's kind of true. That is literally what we do. Anyway, so here we go. We've got into kind of like a scary, darkened area here. Loving the torch mechanics. You see that? It's the actual ghost thing that we've got. It's actually our little flashlight as well. Isn't that lovely? I do like that. I've got to admit that everything about it is just so cleverly done. Look at that grenade bounced off a wall. How pro am I? The answer is not very. That was luck. But to be honest, I've got to admit the game really is great. We played it for hours, and we're quite cautious players generally. Well, Judge and I are. I think Delboy's a bit gung ho, but there's a wizard here. that had us in fits of laughter. A wizard. I don't know. There's something strange about the Harry Potter-esque style stuff and this, but we've got to admit, I mean, we played this for hours and we're all having such a good time. And what we're doing is we're just taking it steady. We're kind of looking around all the corners, looking for the chests, things like that. Now, I have been told that there's 5 golden chests that if you find, you get an upgraded speeder bike. And we'll show the speeder bikes maybe in the next episode. And seriously, you've got to check them out. They are bloody brilliant. It's the jet bike I always wanted in Dust, and they've given it me in this, and it is bloody good, so heartily recommend watching that. There we go, fighting a wizard. Look at that. Looks a bit kind of Space Marine, that, doesn't it? Something about that. Oh, anyway, there we go. Sniping dudes. I'm loving the sniper rifle. It's very, very powerful, and this is only the crappy version of it, but it is ridiculously powerful. Which is good, because that's, again, one of the great things about the game is one of my biggest issues with Rage from id Software. If you remember Rage, I may have even spoke about this in the first video we did, but my issue with Rage was that you could get like 20-30 headshots and it did the same damage as 20-30 body shots, and I didn't like that. Whereas look, I just sniped that dude in the head, and that was an insta kill. Love it. I just love that so much. So to be honest, that I'm really glad that they have included that, because I've always had this issue that console games have always been a little bit lacking when it comes to things like hit detection. They've always been a little bit lacking when it comes to just the ability to kind of tactically play, to get a good shot on, and take the time and not just body shot with a sniper rifle headshot, because you get such a benefit for doing it. So the fact this game does it, big thumbs up. So there we go. That's the end of mission 2, I think. And as you can see, Judge is doing well, isn't he? God, he's meleeing like crazy. But to be honest, we're having such a blast. And look, we've got loot as well. So every time we finish, we get some form of loot. I always seem to get the worst loot. Just saying, bros. Just saying. I seem to get always the worst stuff. But so after every single mission, you can then take a pause once you're back in orbit and actually load your loot. You can look at it. You can sort of see what you want to keep. You can also dismantle for money all of the loot that you don't want to keep, which is lovely. I think that's just such a nice feature indeed. So there we go, end of mission 2. Now join us next time, because in the next one, speeder jet bikes. Woohoo!